Here.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes the cello so popular as an instrument is that it encompasses the entire human voice range. So when you guys sing, both of the male and female voice ranges are covered in this instrument. And that's actually how the Western string instruments found their beginnings, is that we had this vocal tradition throughout some different periods, like the Renaissance up to the Baroque period. And in these times, the main instrument was the voice, always. And then the string instruments came around to double the voice parts in. So whatever you guys would be singing for the piece, the string instrument would play the same exact lines. And then eventually, these instruments started to develop their own solo instrumental traditions. And so this is an earlier example of what was written for the cello shortly after they separated from purely being to accompany the voice, things like that. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and play a piece I haven't played in quite a while, but I'll play it for you guys today, just to give you an example of how this instrument can sound when it's doing something not of its own tradition. So I spent the last few years learning Chinese music and things like that. So you guys know the Chinese fiddle, the erhu, maybe? I'll be playing one of the most famous ballads of that instrument, but on the cello, so you can get an idea of how this instrument sounds playing something that isn't like Bach or Western music. This piece was written by a really famous fiddler who was blind, but he wasn't blind for his whole life. And when he was young, his father taught him music, and he taught him a couple different instruments like flute and the fiddle. And this piece is about him when he's in his old age and blind and has lived a full long life, reminiscing about this lake that he used to live by with the moonlight shining over the lake. And so it's kind of a sad tune because he can no longer see anymore, and he's getting to the end of his life, and so he's just remembering when he was young and you used to look out over the lake with the moon. You guys notice any differences between the old piece from Germany that we heard versus this little fiddle piece from China? Did you guys notice what any of the main differences were between those two traditions? Can anybody tell me? Something that they might have heard that was a little bit different between those two pieces?
First music use of full loop, but second music is two loop. I don't know.
First music you use high, but
Sure.
second music is you use low.
Yeah, and it's a little bit backwards, as the lower I go on the fingerboard, technically the higher the pitch is. So yeah, I was in the low register here, high on the fingerboard, and then since I was playing a little fiddle tune, yeah, up in the high register. You guys tell me anything about the types of notes that I was playing in the first piece versus the second piece, and the types of ornamentation or how the lines were different at all?
Oh,
I don't
Oh, sorry. Well, just in the notes in the first piece versus the second piece, did you notice anything in the way that the notes were played from one note to the next, as far as? Well, so
Sorry.
yeah, the first piece versus the second piece. Yeah, just the differences between the East and the West tradition, I guess is what I was going after, is that in the Chinese piece you had a lot of ornamentations of the notes through sliding, things like that. As opposed to the first piece I played, you wouldn't do that, you would just... Here's a little example. I'm going to continue to show you guys a little bit of what the instrument sounds like in other traditions by doing some Indian style music. So in North India, they have a classical music tradition that is just as old as the Chinese classical or the Korean or the Japanese classical music traditions, and in this tradition they improvise as opposed to playing. So here I've been playing off of the sheet music, right? So I'm going to put that away now, so you don't need it for Indian music. Now, Indian music, like a lot of music traditions from around the world, is taught purely by the mouth and by the ears, so it's an oral tradition. And what they do is they have certain scales or modes, like in both of these pieces. In the first piece, the scale that I was playing is just a beautiful minor mode. And they might use something like that scale in India, but they call it a raga. And it becomes more than just the scale. It becomes a whole mood and atmosphere that you try and create. And they have certain times of the day that you should play certain scales or ragas during certain times of the day. And what you do is you improvise, and you play whatever is in the moment off the top of your head with this one particular mode. And in the first piece I played, like in the Western style, we have different chords that we shift between. This is our harmony. And you don't find that in Indian music. They just stick to that one scale for the whole time. Not too different from the Chinese tune. That was all in one mode the whole time, which is... So I'll do a little bit of Indian style for you guys so you can hear how the cello sounds like that. So maybe just a little bit more Bach, just so we can hear what the Western sounds like again, out of all that.
Do you know any Christmas song?
Any Christmas songs? Oh boy, 'tis the season. I should have prepared. No, I don't actually know any by heart.